Hello. Today I welcome you to the House of Many Excellencies. This is the first episode in the Tell God series. So, I will be starting with a very simple but dangerous question. Have you considered telling God? Now look at this question. Have you considered telling God? Talking to God for someone who is not religious looks impossible. But for you that know God, have you considered telling God? Yes. Have you considered telling God about that marital issue? About your academics? About your finance? About your education? That's what I'm saying. Have you considered telling God about the face-off you had with that woman? Have you considered telling God? Not telling people, not telling your friends. I'm not trying to say speaking on social media. Not telling those who can only say I understand. Not telling people who you think are close to God. I mean, have you considered telling God? Because we live in an age where expression has replaced, devotion. Where venting has replaced praying. Being heard in our age has become more important than being helped. People can enjoy the idea that they are heard. Maybe for visibility, or now they've monetized everything, so you can make money from crying and you will be dying in the inside, and people will be getting the impression for you and you're making money, but you are sick of lying. Have you considered telling God? Because God does not build your impression. God does not help you monetize your pain. God listens and tries to cure it from the roots. Have you considered telling God? We talk about our problems more than we talk to God about them. That's one thing I've found out. But remember, the Bible said, cast your cares upon your friends. Oh, no. That's not what the Bible said. The Bible said, cast your cares upon him, for he cares for you. You can be sure. Yes. You can be sure, yes. Because other people, you don't really know if it's sincere. Whether they are playing a role, whether they are keeping up appearances. But with God, you can be sure. For he cares. You can be sure that he cares. Even when he is silent, even when he's not quickly responsive, you can be sure that he cares for you. There is a difference between, being listened to and being answered. Yes, there's a difference. You have to know this difference. God is ready to listen to you. Men can empathize with you, but it's only God that can really, really intervene in all affairs, in every kind of situation. It's only God that will answer you. Men may even validate your feelings. They can, but it's only God. They can't validate your feelings, but God is not interested in validating your feelings. He's the only one that can recalibrate your future. Some of us are exhausted not because the burden is heavy, but because we are carrying it in the wrong direction. And no matter how you are carrying a burden in the wrong direction, even if you are crying, even if you have faith in it, even if you are joyful and joyous, even if you talk to people about it with a myth, you are wrong. It will never turn into the right destination. Okay, listen carefully. Not every situation needs an audience. Some frustrations you are going through, would need an altar. I wrote that down. Not every frustration needs an audience. Some frustrations need an altar. You remember Hannah? She did not change history by explaining herself to Eli, a man close to God. Remember what I said initially? Doc, have you considered telling God himself with your own mouth, our high priest, who will be moved by the feelings of our infirmities? Have you considered telling him? Hannah whispered her bitterness to God, and nations shifted, and Israel received a very powerful judge. Yes, David did not process betrayal on a public platform. He poured out his soul before the Lord. Have you considered telling God? Even Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, when he was overwhelmed as a man, he did not gather the crowd to vent. He withdrew and prayed. If the Son of God needed solitude with the Father, needed an alone time with the Father, needed to speak to the Father and not move on autopilot, what makes us think commentary will suffice for us? Here is a hard truth. Listen. Now pay attention. Some conversations lose power when overheard. Yes, some conversations, write that down, lose power when overheard. Some conversations lose power when they are overheard. There are battles that cannot survive public discussion. There are tears, that become currency only when God counts them. You remember what the Bible said, I think in the book of Revelation, when the Bible says that our tears are stored in a golden vial. It is when God looks at the tear that it matters. Yes, not people. In fact, every ovation from human beings is waiting for a scandal. I said it is the fact. And here is the mystery. God already knows your situation, yet he waits for you to tell him. Why? Because, now listen, this is very important. Prayer is not about informing God. It is about aligning us. It's about what? Aligning us. Prayer is not about, let me tell God. He was trying to work on our heart posture. So when you tell God, you remember who he is. When you tell God, fear is rescaled. When you tell God, confusion begins to bow. Now, there is counsel you should never crowdsource. Yes. Some things you don't need to bring it to the public, no matter how heavy. It doesn't solve anything. We are living in a time that is too superficial, but don't be swept by that wind of confusion. Talk to God. Before you rant, before you post, if you must post, before the emotional decision, before the retreat. Have you considered telling God? Tell him the anger you are trying to manage. He doesn't discriminate. The book of James chapter 1 verse 5 said, is there anyone amongst you who lack wisdom? Talk to God. Tell God. Ask God. Who does not, he wouldn't say, you don't have sense, you should have had wisdom. He is ready to give you cheerfully. Tell God. Tell him the questions you are afraid to ask in church. Because God is not offended by your honesty. He is invited by it. And when you rise from that place, you may not have the full answer. It is deceptive and it builds delusion to tell you that you will always get answers when you cry. But you will have something better. You must rise with peace and perspective and a different posture, especially of your understanding and your heart. So today, my friends, I leave you with this counsel, not as a rebuke, but as a reminder. Before you explain yourself to men, tell God. Before you seek validation, seek alignment. Before you speak outward, speak upward. Go vertical. Have you considered telling God? Tell God. Now, do it. Talk to God. You don't need to use many words. He knows your heart already. He wants to work on it. Tell God.